Imagine walking into a room and hearing someone say your name. You turn around expecting to see another person. Instead, you find a parrot staring back at you. It doesn't just repeat a random sound. It says your name at exactly the right moment. Then it asks a question it has heard before. Suddenly, a strange thought appears in your mind. Does this bird actually know what it's saying? For centuries, humans assumed parrots were simply mimics, living tape recorders, creatures capable of copying sounds without understanding them. But the more scientists studied parrots, the more that explanation began to fall apart. Because some parrots weren't just repeating words. They seemed to be using them. And what researchers discovered next would completely change how we think about animal intelligence. For a long time, scientists believed language belonged almost entirely to humans. Animals could communicate, of course, but true language seemed different. Then researchers began working with parrots in controlled experiments. What they expected was simple imitation. What they found was something far more surprising. Certain parrots appeared capable of connecting words to actual objects, colors, shapes, and actions. They weren't merely repeating sounds. They were responding correctly to questions. If shown a red object, some parrots could identify the color. If asked about a shape, they could answer accurately. Suddenly, the old idea that parrots were simply copying speech began to collapse. And one bird in particular would shock the scientific world. His name was Alex. At first glance, Alex looked like an ordinary African Grey Parrot. But over the years, he became one of the most famous animals in scientific history. Researchers taught him words, but something unexpected happened. Alex didn't just memorize sounds. He appeared to understand concepts. He could identify colors, shapes, materials, and quantities. In some experiments, he answered questions with accuracy that rivaled young children. Scientists repeatedly tested him, searching for mistakes or hidden cues. Yet the results continued. Alex seemed to understand far more than anyone thought possible. And that forced researchers to ask an uncomfortable question. If a bird can understand concepts, what else might be happening inside its mind? This is where things become fascinating. Understanding language is not the same as repeating language. A voice recorder can repeat words perfectly, but it doesn't know what those words mean. The key question is whether parrots connect words to ideas. Evidence suggests that many do. Some parrots learn that specific sounds represent specific objects. Others learn requests. They can ask for food, toys, or attention using words they associate with those things. In some cases, parrots have even used words in new situations they were never specifically trained for. That suggests flexibility. And flexibility is often a sign of genuine understanding. One of the most surprising discoveries came when researchers noticed parrots making mistakes that looked strangely human. Instead of repeating memorized answers, they sometimes attempted to solve new problems using words they already knew. Imagine a child learning language and trying to describe something unfamiliar. That's similar to what some parrots appeared to be doing. They weren't perfect. They made errors. But those errors suggested thinking rather than simple imitation. For scientists, this was extraordinary, because it implied the bird wasn't just repeating sounds. It was trying to communicate ideas. Many parrot owners swear that their birds understand everyday conversations. Scientists remain cautious about such claims. However, research has shown that parrots can learn complex associations between words and meanings. Some can respond appropriately to questions. Others can request specific objects. A few have demonstrated remarkable memory and problem-solving abilities. While parrots are not having human conversations in the way people do, they may understand far more of our speech than we once believed. And that possibility continues to fascinate researchers around the world. Parrots possess highly developed brains for birds. They are social, curious, and incredibly adaptable. In the wild, they live in complex groups where communication is essential. Scientists believe these social demands help drive the evolution of their intelligence. When a parrot hears a word, it may not experience language exactly as humans do. But evidence suggests it is doing more than simply copying sounds. It may be connecting words, objects, experiences, and outcomes in surprisingly sophisticated ways. And that means every time a parrot speaks, there may be much more happening than we realize. So, do parrots really know what they're saying? The honest answer is that we still don't know exactly how much they understand. But science has revealed something extraordinary. Parrots are not simple imitators. They can learn meanings, recognize patterns, solve problems, and communicate in ways that challenge our assumptions about animal intelligence. The next time you hear a parrot speak, remember that the bird may not just be repeating a sound. It may be trying to tell you something. And if a creature with feathers and a tiny brain can understand more than we imagined, What other animals might be hiding abilities we haven't yet discovered?